I'm going to get started. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Data Grows is very excited to show you guys the very first iteration of our Namibia version of the practice management tool. So you are the first to see it, and we'd love your feedback. Please do pop any questions or comments in the chat as I demo, but at the end you will be able to unmute and ask questions as well. To give you a little bit of background, Data Grows was co-created and co-founded by myself. I am an accountant here in South Africa, and I needed a system to help support my own accounting firm. And I was privileged enough to have a really clever developer for a client at the time. And he and I started playing around with the idea of a system that we could build to help me. And before we knew it, we'd created a product that I hadn't ever used before. And I've used a lot of our competition, but Data Grows was turning out to be something really unique and special. And we realized we couldn't keep it to ourselves. And our 5-year journey has led us to this moment where I was invited to your beautiful country in March and actually asked by SIBA, which I think most of you are members of, to create a similar product that we'd created in South Africa, but catered to Namibia. And it's been quite a learning journey for me to learn your various submissions and terms and phrases that might differ from South Africa. But in a lot of ways, we're all similar. Accountants face similar challenges across the globe. And I'm really excited to show you what we've created for you in Namibia. And I will explain the logistics at the end of the demo in terms of how you can sign up and access this app to help us get it through testing and to get your stamp of approval. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So as I mentioned, Data Grows was created to help me in my firm. And I saw such amazing and quick growth by having a system that contained all the information that I needed to not only manage my clients, but to also manage my growing team. We've created it to become your right hand and to be that support system that shows you exactly what each client requires and what each team member is working on from anywhere in the world. And I'm going to explain some of the benefits as I demonstrate them for you. But the main sort of thing to know about us is that whether you are a sole proprietor or a large firm of 10 to 20 to 30 to 100 accountants, DataGrows has a solution for you. And as you navigate on our website, please note that currently it is catered to the South African market in terms of the plan access. But as we get to know you and understand your needs, we're going to develop a plan and product that slots perfectly into your firm and will cater to the access and features that you require. Because most of our resources were created for the South African market, if you do go through any of them through the training and get started links, you might see references to SARS and SIPC and things like that. Within the Namibian database, however, we have customized every field to be specific to your country, and we are working on translating all of the training material and resources so that it aligns with that information. In terms of onboarding your information, the clients table contains more than 100 fields worth of information that you can track per client. Things like their entity type, their registration details, their year end, their contact information, various tax registration numbers, and then the heart of data grows is what we designed to help you manage your deadlines, to help you track and service every unique client, whether they are a sole proprietor that you process bank statements for and submit tax, whether it's a large corporation that has various services with various unique deadlines. You simply toggle them on in Data Grows, and we will schedule those deadlines in the correct frequency and deadline for you as prescribed either by BIPA or NAMRA. And we've created these automations in DataGrows to help you to do that. To onboard while you're in this beta phase, please do chat to us and reach out to us, and we will explain the best way to get your information uploaded. As I said, at the end of the demo, I will explain the logistics about the next 2 months as you embark on this journey with us. If I demonstrate the client's table for a typical private company, you can see the various information that can be captured for them, and you can then assign your team, no matter how simple or complex they are, to a particular client in the various roles. And then the services here speak to the automation of the sort of fixed deadlines and tasks that we can submit on behalf of our clients, whether it's an internal process like doing bookkeeping or external submissions to NAMRA or BIPA. You can simply toggle these on, and DataGrows will create those deadlines for you. Our role assignment, so as I explained, this was a South African born app. So if you do see certain creeping of CIPC or SARS in the app, you'll just notify us and we'll fix it. But I might display 1 or 2 of them today as we go along. And you have the ability then, if you, for example, perform monthly accounting for a client, to then assign a accountant or processor, manager, partner, and junior or clerk to that department where we group VAT and accounting together, or down to the detail of every task level. And it's really easy to assign your team and to benefit from that automation by just expanding the checkbox and updating the names as you need to. And by doing so, you then tell DataGrows when it schedules this automated service, the team members that are responsible for them. And that then generates the tasks and deadlines per client and the appointed team members that need to fulfill them. An example here is our all tasks due detailed dashboard within a client. Here you can see the deadlines for September going all the way through to next year, depending on their schedule and planning. And here we can see the person who needs to capture the information, the partner who would sign it off, and then, if applicable, a junior or data capturer to assist them, and a team lead in between. And this just helps you to really make sure everyone knows what it is they need to do at any given time. And DataGrows helps you to then keep your place and track that progress. Within every client, you also have the ability to capture various registers of information, additional information containing things like your auditor's contact details, history of resolutions and financials, and any other additional info you might want to store. And then depending on the entity type, you will either see a register of directors. For closed corp, you'll see the members tab, and for trusts, you'll see the trust register. And this information is vital for the beneficial ownership. I nearly said subsea there, for the BIPA beneficial ownership declaration. And you will see later in my demonstration how we generate those documents. But the capturing of that information in the system means you capture it once and then you simply maintain any changes. But there's a lot of documents we can prep for you to make it easier to submit. We also have a share register per client where you can not only capture their share details, and especially for older clients, their historical information. But if you have to issue a new certificate, you can capture the record here, and DataGrows will generate the certificate for you. And as I said, my home country is going to creep in here and there, and we'll just amend that. But here you can see a formatted share certificate that you can then download and have signed simply by capturing their information over here. In our lives as accountants, whether you're a South African or Namibian accountant or wherever in the world you service your clients, what drives our stress as well as the flow of our work is the deadlines attached to those tasks. And as I mentioned before, you can toggle those services in DataGrows to say that you submit VAT for a client, that you process payroll and therefore have a monthly ETX return, an annual pay-as-you-earn 5 return, and so on. And all of those tasks that are automated in DataGrows, as well as any manual ad hoc tasks, formulate and sum up into this all tasks due detailed dashboard. Now I can sort on any number of columns here, but I prefer to sort on the due column. And that's simply because it's going to instantly highlight any overdue tasks that I might have missed. And so that would be like this beneficial ownership task and perhaps a payroll, which I likely will submit today to the client if I haven't done so already. So anything highlighted in red or pink is an overdue task or due today. Anything highlighted in yellow is due in the next 7 days. And you can see I have quite a busy week of payrolls coming up, a couple hundred of them. And later on after that week, when they are simply white, that deadline is after that. And so DataGrows helps you to focus on what's in your control in terms of deadline and what is the most urgent. Now, within this dashboard, we also give you the period of these tasks. So if I just rearrange my columns over here, I can see the applicable periods that need to be processed and the team members attached to those tasks. If I find that when I scroll, I can't see the client's name anymore because the table is slightly wide, you can pin not only that column, but any number of columns to the left and right so that it's easier for you to see that information as you scroll through the details in between. And if I then want to further drill into a task, like for example, this bookkeeping coming up in the next week, you can click on the link button and it will jump to that applicable task table and filter for you for that client, for that period, and the appropriate accountant. From with any task, you can see any notes that have been made by the team members, progress drop-down selections where applicable, and then we've created a workflow for you to use. This helps you to keep your place, whether you use our standard checkboxes or the custom workflow option, where you can build your own steps. Basically, as you proceed, you're going to use either little toggles or completed statuses to keep your place in case you cannot complete the task on the same day that you start it. And it's great to make notes like missing invoices prevented you from completing a certain recon, or a missing page on the bank statement, or your bank statement didn't recon and you really just can't get to it today, but you don't want to forget about it tomorrow. And that's what data grows becomes. It becomes your memory. It becomes your placeholder so that when you pick a task up tomorrow, you know exactly where you left off and what it is you still need to achieve for that client. It also comes in handy if they're on the phone yelling at you for a missed deadline, and your notes can actually substantiate that you did ask them 7 times already for that missing document and they haven't yet provided it. Our tables can be quite busy depending on the size of our firm, the number of clients, the number of tasks that we're dealing with. And we steered away from a search bar. You will find it as a filter button. And the reason for that is you can then filter on any column. For example, our deadlines to the end of September. But I can take it further and filter on a number of columns where I'm trying to focus, for example, on a specific client, or easily change it if I want to focus on a specific team member. And the variations and possibilities are endless. The other thing I really love about our filter is the fact that it's sticky, in the sense that if you refresh or leave the page, you don't have to rebuild your search from scratch. There's nothing worse than, for example, saving an invoice on a system and dealing with a set of clients' invoices for a period, and you keep having to research that same thing over and over. So as you make your changes, your filter will not unapply until you clear it and then search again or apply a new search. You have the ability in any table to customize your column view as well. As I mentioned, the clients table has over 100 columns, and not all of them are necessary for day-to-day work. And you can also rearrange the order of the columns that you want to see, more left versus right. We have created a Monday morning report that will summarize that all tasks due detail for the next 30 days only. And we email that report every Monday morning to each team member so that they know exactly what they need to do for the week and the month ahead. But you can also access that report and many other reports live in the system by clicking on that report icon. Here we show you a summary of the tasks that need to be completed. As you can see, Bach has quite a heavy week in terms of his payrolls and other deadlines, but we can easily see the team attached to it and the various tasks that he needs to handle. And if you scroll further to the detailed pages, we will also show you not only the number of tasks, but a breakdown of that detail and the affected clients. And if any progress and notes have been made, you'll pick them up easily on this report. And this really helps in terms of time management and planning and just keeping your focus for the next 30 days. Sometimes life is so busy that that's all we can cope with. And so that's why using the filters and accessing that report are so vital, to just stay on top of that and not incur a penalty because you missed a deadline. So to reiterate, the tasks that we schedule automatically, in your guys' case in Namibia, it will be accounting, it will be VAT. Accounting, you can choose the frequency in which you process those books. Payroll and wages, if applicable. We've got an SSC reminder there for that declaration. Your ETX, as I said, annual pay as you earn 5, workman's comp, a full audit module to help you track that, the BIPA annual return and beneficial ownership declaration, processing and drafting of financials, and income tax and provisional tax. But we realize that not everything in our lives are predictable. There are many times where a task comes out of nowhere that we need to then service the client for, and we've become more and more into the role of financial manager instead of just data capturer. And so our scope has widened, and I learned in my own practice that if I didn't have a place to quickly track the fact that I was drafting a letter or formulating this huge budget or cash flow projection, or applying for, in our case, the consumer supplier portal, it's so easy to give services away for free. Then we end up resenting our clients because we didn't actually bill them for that time. And we have this battle within ourselves of, is it quicker and cheaper to just do it for free because it takes so much time and effort just to bill for that? Or are we able to quickly track how long a task takes us, negotiate the fee for the client because we have those stats available on how long it roughly takes us normally, and we can then actually get paid for these value-added services that have forced into our industry, and we can then charge a fair fee and not resent our clients for doing the service that we accepted in the first place. And so besides the automated services, which we generally are able to work into our retainers, we have various ad hoc work that we do, and we need to be able to track that in DataGrows. So in the ad hoc tasks, there are quite a few tasks that you can choose from to track various administrative things that you might do for a client. And then we have tasks like maintaining companies, registering for new companies, and those we cover under the BIPA tasks. Now, I know in Namibia that it's quite a painful process to make any of these changes and maintain this information, and I will speak a little bit about our plans to help you there. But in terms of just getting paid and remembering to complete this task and going through the process of supporting documents and getting everything signed and remembering the entire pack that needs to be prepared, you can choose from the list of documents. And then if these are applicable to Namibia, we will then keep them, otherwise amend them. So this is where we'll need your feedback in terms of the supporting documents required to successfully register a new company or make a director change, register a new auditor or accounting officer. That functionality then exists in this space. In terms of any verifications triggered by NAMRA, you have the ability, if it is a DataGrows task, such as VAT or tax submissions, to toggle a verification from within that task by just checking the verification checkbox. And when you click save, we will schedule a NAMRA task for you, which lives in the tax department under the NAMRA tasks. And here in South Africa, you have 7 days to submit your supporting documents. Not 100% sure of your timeline yet. I'm sure you all are going to correct me on a lot of things. But that internal due date then becomes your reminder to submit your supporting documents for that verification. And in SA, these are the required supporting documents to achieve that verification, to actually pass that verification, and we'll adapt for you guys where we need to. And you can then keep track of the day you submit your supporting documents versus the day that they are completed, so that you actually get your progress. And it's really helpful to just make sure nothing falls off the tracks, nothing falls off your radar in terms of following up and remembering to complete a process. It's all contained within DataGrows. The next feature that I want to just cover is the beneficial ownership declaration. Please do bear in mind that the mandate, for example, is still currently written for South Africa, and we will definitely amend that within the next week so that it does contain the correct wording as BIPA requires a mandate to lodge on behalf of your client. But by completing the ownership structure for a client, no matter how complicated it is, no matter how many trusts there are hidden in here, no matter how many companies of a company there is, you have the ability to really relatively easily capture each warm body or beneficial owner linked to your client. And the beauty of it is you only have to capture each beneficial owner once. Because of how we've created the relationships between the various companies and trusts, you only capture their information once. And then even if all of those legal entities are your clients and you need to do their declaration, you've captured them, and DataGrows just links the various people into their entities. We then formulate a beneficial interest register where you can then capture their information, and it's all contained in one report, even though they might come from various entities. The securities register there then just showing details of the shares and where that organogram structure came from. One of the other features that we've created is our bulk automated emails. This feature helps you to communicate in bulk to various clients depending on the deadline or reminder you want to send out. But the body of the email is customizable. For example, if you require a client to send a copy of their monthly bank statements and invoices, you can, to all 50 accounting clients, send out this bulk email. With our Microsoft integration, it sits in the sandbox of each of your team members, so you actually have a mail trail of those emails going out. And we use these square bracket placeholders to actually personalize the email. Then, because it sends from your firm in your Microsoft domain, it doesn't look like a system automated email, but you can literally schedule it to go out, and all those clients will go out or will receive that bulk personalized communication from DataGrows, tagging each accountant, and you can choose to CC a partner and or manager in that email. Each of the emails give you the ability to draw a report where you can actually see any affected clients by that mail before you send it, especially for the first time, just to make sure everyone has an email address, every team member has integrated with Microsoft. And you can also send yourself a test email to actually check a completed body and make sure that the placeholders fill in correctly. If you are editing the body of your email, which you can, and you accidentally remove or edit a placeholder, you can simply right-click in the body of that email and the available placeholders can be selected from again. You can attach an image into this. You can amend and edit the font as well and the color. It is a full rich text enabled email body. And the other time saver that we've implemented is our document template feature. This allows you to not only create your own email template per document that your client needs to sign, but you also have the ability to edit the template itself. So you start with one of our Word documents, which again we would rename over here. and I can actually just do that. You will also have the ability to rename them as you need to. But you start off with our Word documents. For example, in SA, we all had to complete a mandate to actually go and submit the workman's comp on behalf of our clients. Now, if that document doesn't apply in Namibia, you simply can delete it and customize your own. But this Word document could actually become an engagement letter. And the reason for that is we've built in a connection to the database. So just want to show you in theory how that could work. And so the Word document itself is only special in the sense that it has a link to DataGrows. But the content and layout and format of the documents is completely up to you. If you access the link to DataGrows in the XML mapping, you will see a full list of the fields available to select, and you can then add, for example, your firm name between clients and the point I'm trying to make here is you could paste it on your letterhead, paste it on your client's letterhead, and complete all the various fields that you need to, pull in their address, pull in any other details that apply to them that's captured in their client record, and save that template in DataGrows, calling it whatever you like. So we might call this an individual and focus on only their information, set up a subject and body, and then save that Word document in this template so that when I generate it, it literally takes 2 seconds to choose it. And then one more button to either email myself a copy of that generated PDF document and the email body, or you can email it directly to your client to ask them to then complete that information or sign the relevant letter. So it's a really handy thing. You might here be sitting with a few essay examples. We will get them translated for you, but you have the ability to add any document here that you would like and use those placeholders to complete that link to the database so that it will generate for you. I mentioned a little bit earlier that changes with BIPA and NAMRA can be quite tedious. I know you guys work on a lot of paperwork submissions still, a lot of manual visits, appointments and branch visits and faxing and things like that. And we want to assist you. We are in discussion with both the Commissioner for BIPA and NAMRA to actually get them to agree to a central database on DataGrows, where you guys will be able to consent and give them access to feed your client's information and your task information to a central database, so that if there is a verification, for example, you can upload the supporting documents from within DataGrows and they can access it live, and they can then give you that feedback live whether or not it's complete, if there's any missing information. So that relationship is relatively new. We're in discussion and we're going to see how best we can assist you guys to just automate some of those processes and also make sure that you're not recapturing information that's already in DataGrows. As that evolves and we get more information, we'll definitely provide feedback and get your input to make sure that it is something that's helpful and isn't going to create additional admin on top of what you're already dealing with. and you can then just sign up and we'll trigger the necessary things on our side. And then you can just give your feedback through our regular help channels, which are available through this help icon over here, or via WhatsApp or email. So it's really easy to get hold of us, and we will definitely be looking out for any Namibia tagged information to just sort of get us going. In terms of any of the resources and training available for the features that I've mentioned, we are busy creating a database of Namibian resources, but most of it is pretty universal, if I can use that term. A provisional tax submission is pretty much an estimate of tax. And we have quite a few equivalents, which I know a lot of Namibians are familiar with South African tax legislation. So don't feel like you can't go through the resources, but I just don't want you to feel obligated that you need to know it from A to Z in order to give us feedback. We're going to guide you as best we can throughout this journey and give resources that are universal as you have a question, but we will make it our mission to make sure that there's proper training material as soon as possible so that you can learn how to use the app and actually get that benefit sooner rather than later. Okay, and then in terms of FIC, I know that's a tough requirement that we're all dealing with throughout the world. What we have created thus far is a place for you to create a list of documents per risk type that need to be correlated, documents and steps. And then depending on your assessment of a client, you can then trigger that list against them and correlate and keep the documents in Data Grows. But what we're currently working on is a relationship with WorldCheck. They're going to give us the ability to search a client for an entire year for the fee that we're going to pay, and we will then charge that back. But it's looking at about R2 a client to do that search, but then it gives you all the lists that are out there. So the normal ID check, the PEP lists, the adverse media, all of those. I think there's about 7 various databases that they pull all of that information together, and you can then assess the clients. So we're very excited about that relationship. We're hoping to finalize it soon and actually get that file into Data Grows. We have built the database functionality for it already. We're just waiting for the live data file from them, and then that feature will be made available. And then I just want to mention, you guys are under no obligation by joining this beta. So when you sign up, there's no credit card required. We're just really thankful that you will take the time to actually give us this feedback and help us improve Data Grows for Namibia. As you saw, there were quite a few places that I still need to touch up. But the point of this is to get feedback from the people who will use it. There's no point in designing a system without actually speaking to the people whose problem it's solving. And oftentimes we've learned that we don't always realize there's an issue with our systems. So if you've been on Excel for years and years managing your tasks, and it works because it works, but no one's really happy. Our goal and passion at Data Grows is to make you love accounting again, make you love what you do so that you can service more clients, become more efficient and more profitable. And we're just really hoping that with your feedback and insights, we can make this an app that's going to support accountants, be there for you, make sure that you're not overworked and stressed out by all of these regulations that just keep growing and growing, and you almost feel like you're relearning your degree every day just to keep up. So we want to give you that calm, quiet space to track everything so that you can then focus on servicing your clients and actually enjoying what you do again. So we are going to do regular sessions like this over the next 2 months. We'll stay in touch with you guys and get you onto a bit of a mailing list. So as features are improved or changed, we'll obviously inform you of that. But it will be great if we can have regular check-ins and almost training sessions as well, where I'll go deeper into the various features. Today was more of a introduction, so I didn't want to go too far into detail, but we'll do additional training sessions. I think we said once a week from now on. We will record them, so don't feel like you need to commit, but it's great if you can join so that you can give your insights as and when we demo it, and if there's anything you want to bring to our attention at that time. So we will stay in touch. And if you have any questions after this that you didn't think of now, please feel free to pop us an email. You do have our email now, as well as our WhatsApp number, as I showed under the little help icon on our site. And Limeri's there given the sign up link. So that will just fill in the Namibia promo code for you. You can just complete your details, and then we'll, throughout the course of today and tomorrow, give you a copy of the Namibia database. It won't have data in, but you can then add your clients, your team members. Feel free to get as many accountants involved as you can to get you guys set up in the system and comfortable with the system. And then we'll be in touch as we progress and hand out more info as we can.